Hey now, Superfly is 187 coming at you today with a little video on magic mushrooms. That's right, magic fucking mushrooms. The drug, the hallucinogen, the treat for some. So back in the 90s, I was coming up in high school. There was a lot of magic mushrooms around. Everyone was doing them. I remember another high school had a major bust where this dude was, I don't know how he was doing it or if there was some kind of manufacturing process behind it, but they were actually putting the magic mushrooms inside pieces of chocolate, which sound amazing because there was a huge bust. Probably, you know, they busted like, I don't know, a couple of $1,000s worth of product or whatever, probably a pound or whatever of mushrooms, something like that anyway, because mushrooms taste awful. Now, I'm not talking about your regular canned mushrooms. I mean, if you haven't tried magic mushrooms and you don't like when your mom or dad's cooking and they make these mushrooms and they're Ugh. I don't mind mushrooms on a pizza. I can deal with that, but other than that, I just not my thing. But magic mushrooms, the drug, are very dry. They're not they're not wet, they're not fresh, they are super effing dry, right? And you'll choke on them because sometimes you'll get the stems and they're like these long hard pieces and you will choke. I've thrown up several times after eating them or as I was eating them because they're just so hard to get down. So you want to have a drink if you're. I'm not advocating the use of mushrooms, the use of any drug. This is just something that happened to me, or this is, you know, a little story about magic mushrooms. Anyway, so I did it quite a few times. There was good times and bad times, I guess, or bad drugs. They weren't very potent, I guess I'll say. I had a friend who, you know, got really good deals, and a lot of times it was crap, but some of the times it was really good. Well, I started dating this girl. It was either early 2000s, I can't remember. It was in my early 20s, and she was a friend of someone I was working for. Or sorry, she was a niece of the woman I was working for, and she came to the workplace, and I was like, "Hey, who's that? That's your niece? Oh, cool. Why don't you hook us up?" And I was a little bit of a player, you know. I won't lie. I like the ladies. I kept going, and we ended up. This girl, her mom owned a business. She was very well off. Like, their house was really nice, and you know, that wasn't why I wanted to get with her. I had no idea until I was already with her, kind of deal. But anyway, she turned out to be a real badass. Like, she was a drug dealer, and I think she set me up a few times. Like, she had this friend who was the son of a cop, and she said that he had a drug collection, and I'm like, what? A drug collection? What the fuck does that even mean? Right? She basically told me, oh, it's he's trying to collect every different type of drug he can get. Okay, so I don't know, whatever. She just kind of like laid that seed in my mind, and one night she had gone out and said, oh, can you give this guy's gonna come by, can you just give him this bag? And it was literally a bag that you couldn't see through, like a plastic bag, but it had old Nintendo cartridges, like from NES. And when I went to go answer the door, okay, well, her mom owned this business, and she owned a bunch of buildings that other businesses were in, and we lived upstairs from a used furniture place, I guess it was. Something like that, anyway. A really nice apartment. Like, the ceilings were like 12 feet high. It was huge, 2-bedroom apartment. Beautiful. For free. Absolutely free, right? So anyway, so she asked me to deliver to this guy, this cop's son, and I was like, okay, what is it? She's like, oh, it's just some Nintendo games. And I looked at it. Yeah, that's sure enough. That's exactly what it was. And I went to go answer the door, and I had to come down the stairs and open this glass side door that we had. And he came up, and as soon as he came up, a cop car pulled up and stopped there and just like literally looked at us. But I didn't think nothing of it because I wasn't doing anything wrong or anything illegal, so whatever, right? I gave him the shit and whatever. But I got later on. She tried to portray. She tried to have people call up and buy drugs when she wasn't around. And like, I'm not talking like, here, can I get a gram? Can I get a 20? It was like ounces and pounds and shit. And I'm just like, no, that ain't me, man. That ain't me. You'll have to phone back when the other person's here. You know, like I ain't fucking with that shit. I was smart. Anyway, I never got busted, but so we were at odds, me and this girl, and she wanted me to move out, I think, and I just didn't give a fuck. I just stayed. Ladies, be warned. I mean, free rent. I was like 2 blocks away from work. It was pretty nice. Party all night long because it was in a commercial district where, you know, no residential places, where there was bars on both sides of us and everything like that. So it was cool. So one night, I had like 4 or 5 buddies and 3 or 4 girls over, and one of the guys came up with a bag of mushrooms. All right, perfect, right? I don't know. I wasn't really big into mushrooms. I was more of a pothead, but yeah, hey, if they're there and they're free, I'll take them. One person put them on a hamburger, you know, the other person, they weren't the chocolate ones, one person put them on a hamburger, like that's part of their meal. And me, no, I'm just gonna take them normally. And I got a really nice cap piece, like really nice. And if those of you who know, cap pieces are really nice. Now this was like a nice bluish purple piece. Probably the nicest piece I've ever seen, right? So these people are eating their mushrooms, I'm eating mine, and the stems were, I ate the cap, and I tried to hold it down. I ate some of the stems, and I hurled. I had to throw up. It was just that bad, right? And I had a history of throwing up from mushrooms. It's not that big of a surprise, but I threw up in the toilet, and the piece that came out, or the piece that was left over, was this beautiful cap piece. Okay, it was like a half of a cap, and it was like probably about half a gram, maybe a little bit more, maybe 3/4 of a gram of this magic mushroom, right? So threw it up in the toilet, and I was like, fuck. So I scooped up the piece and put it on the sink, right? And so whatever, we went on our way. We went tripping all night, and you know, my roommate shows up. My roommate, she was supposed to be my girlfriend, but yeah, that didn't work out. This drug dealer chick shows up, and she's like, hey, what are you guys doing? You guys partying or something? We're all tripping out, like looking at posters and listening to music and everything. Because again, commercial building, it didn't matter how late we stayed up, whatever, right? So she looks out the window and she goes, oh my god, you guys, there's fucking Triforce drug unit outside watching you guys right now. We're like, what's going on? And we all look outside and we see 2 white vans. Now these weren't marked cop cars or anything, but the Triforce was a big unit back then. It was huge for busting up all these drug dealers and everything. I'm sure if they were watching us, I'm pretty sure they were, but they probably would have got a good laugh, because we only had like maybe half an ounce of mushrooms, and when they were all gone, we all already ate them. We were like, so what, man, we don't have anything, it's all gone. You know, like, we didn't care, because we were all tripping. And she was like, dude, so she went out there by herself, and she walked up to the first van, and you could see her pointing at them and then fucking pointing out there, because her mom owned the building and her mom owned the parking lot and everything. Get the fuck out of here, she's saying, blah blah blah. Goes up to the second van, does the same thing. She comes back up, she's like, yeah, those guys were narcs, man. Like, those guys were the cops. They had those little cone things to listen in. She's like, they were listening to you guys all night, I bet. And so I don't know, we didn't really care. Some of my friends were like, fuck that, I'm out of here, whatever. They left. And she ended up leaving too, I don't know. But I was left with Buddy and a couple of chicks. And like I said, we didn't care. But so I went. My buzz was coming down, everyone was coming down, people were starting to mellow out, the girls, I guess, went to sleep. I don't know, it wasn't really about sex on mushrooms, I can't really recall, maybe we did have, I don't know. Anyway, I go into the washroom, and I was like, oh yeah, there's that cap I threw up, And I literally picked it up, and this was so saturated that it left a blue stain on the sink from where it was. It's juice. I should have licked the juices off the freaking sink. Well, I ate that shit, and I was tripping balls after that, 10 times more than I was all night long. I was tripping my ass off. I couldn't go to sleep for like, I don't know, till like the nighttime the next day. I was so tripping. But anyway, so I had a good time, and we never got busted or anything. Me and the girl, we ended up breaking up, and yeah, I moved out on my own terms though. Like, if you're living in a place, they can't evict you. They have to give you like, I don't know, 3 months or something like that before they can literally evict you or kick you out physically or call the police and have you removed or whatever, right? So basically I moved out on my own terms. I never got busted. I ran into this chick. This is probably like 15 years later, maybe more. She is a meth head. Dude, she has all those bumps on her face and scratches and shit, and she's with this old ass guy. He's probably like 20 years older than her, and she asked me for a cigarette. I don't smoke anymore, and I was like, no, I don't smoke, and I didn't even recognize her at first. Then I looked at her for a second, I was like, oh my god, she's a just a nasty. This girl used to take GHB. If you don't know what GHB is, it's date rape drug. She used to take that for fun. She used to take that, oh, I want to see what it's like. I want to see what it's like. Anyway, that's my story about magic mushrooms. I have probably tons more about mushrooms, but that's probably the best one. Anyway, I am Superfly187. Thanks for checking out my video today. Don't forget to like, comment, and if you're new to my channel, make sure to click on that subscribe button. Peace.